try to be objective with all of my sports coverage, and listen, Jacy Sheldon objectively should be suspended for this play. I just don't know in what world, in what universe you watch that play back and you go, that was a basketball play. She was trying to make a basketball move, especially with all the angles of this play.
The outcry is growing, and frustration is hitting a peak. Fans across the basketball world are calling for accountability after a hard foul by Jacy Sheldon on Caitlin Clark. The WNBA community is speaking out loudly, demanding that Sheldon face real consequences, especially financial ones, for what many see as a dangerous and unnecessary move that put one of the league's brightest stars at serious risk.
Was clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game, and that is, that comes from a function of, she guarded her in one-on-one situations a lot up the court, and then rolled into a lot of doubles in the half court, but there was talking and chirping all game, and for me, it was punctuated by Caitlin Clark's final play before she came out of the game, where she stares Jacy Sheldon down, essentially demonstrates, she's like, if you poke me in my eye, I will shoot it in yours. And she crosses her, finds the favorite spot, free throw line extended from the logo area, big fuck you 3 to Jacy Sheldon, yells at the Connecticut bench, yells at the crowd. Her and Jacy Sheldon come back together. Caitlin fires up the audience, basically tells Jacy Sheldon, you are a bum.
Social media and sports forums are lighting up with fans demanding action. Many are urging the WNBA to hit Sheldon with a hefty fine, one big enough to send a strong message. They argue that if the league won't step up to protect its biggest star through better officiating, then it must do so by making the consequences serious enough to stop future incidents before they happen.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about this.
What was supposed to be a regular Tuesday night matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun quickly turned into something else. Once again, Caitlin Clark took a hard hit, part of a growing pattern that fans say the WNBA keeps ignoring. But this time, the foul was so obvious and so dangerous that even casual viewers could see it wasn't just part of the game. Sheldon's intent was hard to miss.
Clark and Jacy Sheldon. There is a legitimate hatred there. If you guys have heard, this Ohio State team, this 2023 Ohio State team, hated that Iowa team. And this is Jacy Sheldon, who was Caitlin Clark's direct matchup in these games. Like I tweeted out, forget Angel, forget Dejanay. This is Caitlin Clark's one true rival.
Jacy Sheldon took things too far when she intentionally poked Caitlin Clark in the eye during a defensive play, a move that could have caused real, long-term harm to the league's biggest star. What made it even worse was the smirk on Sheldon's face afterward, which many fans saw as proof this wasn't just an accident. To them, it looked like a deliberate shot at the very player who's done more than anyone else to bring attention and excitement back to the WNBA.
Funny thing about that whole Caitlin and Jacy situation last night is it's like on a if you know thing. These two have been running a friendly fade on the court for like the last 4 years. They played in college, had great battles, so I'm not surprised last night happened.
If you're enjoying this coverage, don't forget to subscribe. What happened next only added fuel to the fire. After the eye poke, Sheldon didn't let up. She grabbed Clark's arm and appeared to dig her nails into her skin, yet somehow, the referees let it slide without a call. And just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, Marina Mabrey stepped in, shoving Clark from behind while she was still reeling from the earlier hit. For many fans, it felt less like a basketball game and more like a targeted attack, and the silence from the officials made it even harder to swallow.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player. So it's all good.
The reaction to Sheldon's actions was swift and intense, revealing just how fed up fans really are. Within hours, social media erupted with outrage. Many called for serious consequences, ranging from hefty fines to suspending Sheldon for the rest of the season. The hashtag ban Jacy Sheldon quickly began trending, while Caitlin Clark supporters flooded Sheldon's Instagram with criticism. Comments accused her of being unprofessional, jealous, and even questioned whether she should be playing in any pro league at all.
Look at it from behind or from the side. It's so obvious that she straight up leapt out towards Caitlin and got her right in the eye. And the more I try and watch it back and you try to be objective, there is no world where this was a basketball play. And yes, she was playing tough defense on Caitlin up until that point, but she leapt forward. And it's not like it's defensible where you can say she tried to get the ball, because her hand at that point was so far away from where the ball was. It's not like Caitlin was dribbling the ball up near her face. How she was not ejected for this, I don't know. The broadcast was talking about it, and that's why Sophie Cunningham even had the opportunity to hard foul her at the end. I don't know what you do, but the league's got to do something.
Even major media figures are speaking out. On The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon addressed WNBA leadership directly, saying, "What is going on in the WNBA? Protect Caitlin Clark at all costs. Please, enough of this." When late-night hosts start weighing in, it's clear the issue has gone beyond sports. Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports didn't hold back either, slamming the players involved as jealous loser punks and suggesting they belong in a rec league where no one cares about you. This kind of mainstream criticism is exactly the spotlight the WNBA hoped to avoid, public backlash that highlights the league's failure to protect its biggest star.
He'd stop the fighting. He thought they meant the WNBA. What is going on? Protect Caitlin Clark at all costs. Please. Enough of this. Please.
To understand why fans are pushing for such strong punishment against Sheldon, you have to look at just how much Caitlin Clark means to the WNBA. The numbers are jaw-dropping. According to Dr. Ryan Brewer, a finance professor at Indiana University Columbus, Clark was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity during her rookie year alone. That's more than a quarter of the league's entire business impact, coming from one player who earned just $76,535 in her first season, and it doesn't stop there. Brewer estimates that in 2025, Clark could generate close to $1 billion in total economic impact for the league. That's billion with a B, a figure that overshadows anything the WNBA has seen before. When one player drives that kind of growth, allowing her to be repeatedly targeted on the court isn't just reckless, it's financially disastrous.
Listen, bring Caitlin Clark to the NBA right now, because the refs ain't gonna protect her. She only got one teammate, and that's her, who gonna do something about it. Like, yo, yesterday, that's malice in the palace activity. Call for it. That y'all should have been throwing hands all over the place. How do you get poked in the eye, then get thrown to the ground, and then you receive a technical foul? And don't none of your teammates want to step up, fight, squabble, none of that. They just looking like yo, it's been, we know that y'all been targeting Caitlin Clark now. Now I'm even watching, I'm like, hold on, what? Like, how are y'all letting this happen? How are y'all not protecting this girl? Now, she clearly is a superstar, right? But there's plenty superstars in the WNBA, and don't none of them get treated the way Caitlin Clark get treated. Now, y'all gonna mess up and ruin the whole numbers, your ratings, your sponsor, all that, if y'all don't have Caitlin Clark in y'all's league. So y'all better start acting right. I'm telling you.
The WNBA's response to the incident has left fans stunned, and not in a good way. Jacy Sheldon was given a flagrant 1 foul, which comes with a fine of just $2,000. Marina Mabrey's technical foul was upgraded to a flagrant 2, costing her only $400. To put that in perspective, that's less than what many people spend on a nice night out. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, who actually stood up for Caitlin Clark, was hit with a flagrant 2 and an additional undisclosed fine from the league. The message couldn't be clearer: attack Caitlin and pay a small price, but defend her and face bigger consequences. Fans say it's completely backwards, but they're not just upset, they're taking action. Petitions demanding stronger penalties are quickly gaining traction, collecting hundreds of signatures in just a few days. Across social media, campaigns are calling for much tougher fines, in the tens of thousands of dollars. Many argue that anything less than a full month's salary won't stop this behavior. Some even want a portion of those fines to go directly to Caitlin Clark, as compensation for the repeated targeting she's had to endure.
This has been a very contentious 12 hours since the game. A lot of people on ESPN saying ridiculous things, like Monica McNutt saying she had no problem with Marina Mabry's foul. And I look at that in comparison to the Sophie Cunningham foul, which I have seen people say has no place in the league, unsportsmanlike, when that actually is a lot more sportsmanlike than the Marina Mabry one. Marina Mabry was completely disconnected from the play, had nothing to do with it. There was no play even going on when Marina Mabry did that.
The reasoning is simple, both financially and for Clark's safety. If Sheldon's eye poke had seriously damaged Clark's vision, the WNBA could have lost hundreds of millions in revenue. From a business point of view, it just doesn't add up. The league has the biggest star in women's sports right now, a player who's boosted ticket sales, TV ratings, and merchandise like no one else. Yet, they're letting her be targeted by players with personal grudges, when teams can't fill seats without Clark, when TV ratings triple when she's on the court, and when cities adjust venues just to handle the crowds she attracts. The smart move would be to protect her with strict penalties against anyone who tries to hurt her. Here's a striking example. The Indiana Fever's franchise value jumped from $90 million to $340 million in just 1 year, almost entirely because of Clark. That's a $250 million increase thanks to one player. With that much on the line, a $2,000 fine for attacking her isn't just weak, it's downright careless.
What you have in Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent. She was massively successful in college, and that's transcended into the WNBA, where she's leaps and bounds above pretty much most every player there. You're allowing her to get beaten up on the regular during games, flagrant fouls, people trying to take her eye out. That's happened a couple different times last year and this year. And you're not protecting your...
More than just being a fan of Sheldon, many people now believe Kayla Clark should receive extra pay for the abuse she's faced. The reasoning is simple. If a player is being targeted in ways no one else in the league has, and that targeting happens because she's so valuable to the league, then she deserves more than just her regular salary. Right now, Kayla is making $78,000 this season, while she's responsible for nearly $1 billion in economic impact for the league. That's an incredible return, something any business would love. Yet, the league lets her face these attacks without protection. Some fans suggest a system where players who intentionally foul Kayla would have to give part of their pay directly to her. Others think the league itself should pay her extra for dealing with treatment that's way beyond normal competition. Since Kayla's impact on the WNBA's success is unmatched, setting up special protection and extra pay for her isn't just fair, it's smart business.
One could argue she is an A-level star, and they don't even have B and C level stars. From A, it drops to D. She is the entire league. And they allow things like this to happen last night against the Connecticut Sun.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
Ooh, and Marina Mabry. I missed that one, Edona.
Oh, I missed that one too.
Like, it wasn't just a hard foul accident. Like, there's nothing Caitlin Clark has done in response at this point. So what's the point in bowing up into her face? And immediately, I don't think Caitlin's even extended her arm to push her away. Maybe the coaching is, hey, if you're physical with Caitlin Clark, it's one of the only ways to stop her. Yes. So, like, they're all encouraged to be really physically aggressive. But it's hard not to look at this and think there's animus towards her. You got to protect Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA.
If the WNBA really wanted to protect its billion-dollar star, the current fine system would be completely different. Right now, fines are only $200, basically pocket change for players. Real penalties would be a serious chunk of their yearly salary. For example, players like Sheldon who intentionally go after Clark's eyes or other sensitive spots should face fines of at least $25,000. That's about 10% of a typical WNBA salary, a penalty that would actually hurt and make players think twice before doing something reckless. For repeat offenders or especially bad fouls, fans want fines of $50,000 or more, plus automatic multi-game suspensions. The league has to send a strong message. If you want to play here, you must respect and protect the player who's helped make this league successful. Fans also want part of those bigger fines to go directly to Clark, to both punish those who target her and fairly compensate her for the unfair treatment she's endured.